it's coming out at such a great time right now where people are feeling a little, concerned with the state of the
Hopeless.
world, the state of the country, and yeah, no hope. So Superman always does best when it's coming out, during a time where, the world needs a hero. Superman is the talk of the town. That's going to be a bulk of our show today. So, welcome to Nerdy and Nice, everybody. That's right. New Superman trailer. We're going to react to that on this episode. Give you our thoughts. Give each other our thoughts. As Lacey here with me, as always.
Hello.
Lacey, have you seen? Well, you sent it to me, so you've seen it. But the
I was going to say, I sent it to you.
the popcorn collectibles for Superman, and what do you think?
I laughed because we just talked last week about a bunch of different popcorn buckets, and they're continuing on with Superman to no surprise. There's one with the dog. There's one with a dog bowl, which I don't know if I'd eat popcorn out of a dog bowl, but maybe that's just me. And then there's the typical bucket with Superman on it. So these are just from Cinemark. I'm assuming there's going to be other ones. They have the Fortress of Solitude cup for soda, and then they also have plushies, which were really cute. They have the little dog plush, Superman plush.
Yeah.
Uh, DC is looking to make money on this thing. It is their
Yeah.
main guy, so get ready.
Yeah.
There's going to be even more.
The question is though, if you get the dog bowl one, do you have to eat it like a dog?
That's I thought that when I saw it, I was like, so are people just gonna be like, "Ah, rah, rah, ah,
Face
rah, rah."
first, right into the popcorn. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I eat popcorn, but I didn't think I'd be called out like this.
Is it? I'm trying to think
No,
back.
you've been to a movie with me.
Oh, right, right. Yeah.
Multiple
Um,
movies, actually.
yeah, that is true. But yeah, these things are always just getting crazier and crazier. And you're right, this is just Cinemark, so who knows what AMC does? Regal is popular with these too. But the Superman hype has started as the movie is 1 month away. Yeah, as of this episode airing, it's about
Couple weeks.
about exactly one
Mhm.
month away. So why don't we get into all of that news, which kicks it off with Superman in What's Happening?
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
This is a super-sized Superman episode of Nerdy and Nice, which we knew was eventually gonna happen. We've been talking about this movie for a year now. We've been talking since we started the show. We, kicked it off with this, basically. This and Happy Gilmore were, our main topics when we
Also,
started
it
this
needs to be
podcast.
said, Lacey, this is the 50th episode of Nerdy and Nice.
It is! Hooray! We did it, guys. We made it to 50. So yeah, we're gonna kick it off with the trailer. And John, I'm gonna let you start. What are your thoughts on the newest trailer, which is hyping up the IMAX screenings? And are you seeing it in IMAX?
Yeah, so they James Gunn tweeted out something about an Amazon exclusive offer, and we have an Amazon account, so
You
I
went so
clicked on
quick.
it. Yeah, checked it out. So yeah, we're gonna take Johnny to IMAX, and it's not like the gigantic IMAX, but it's the bigger screen and stuff like that, and all the sound and whatever comes with it. But yeah, we're gonna take him. So that's on the Tuesday, so July 8th, I believe. And we haven't told him yet, but he did say something about oh, we should go see Superman. So maybe we just drop it on him that day. But I'm so excited to tell him about it, and I'm
The whole
excited to
fam?
see it. So, just me, Kathleen, and Johnny. Daisy's
Oh,
too
nice. Yeah,
too
I was
little.
gonna say she's probably a little little for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
She'll have
That's
her
so
movie.
fun.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So what? You want my thoughts on the trailer or everything? How do you want to go about
Let's
this?
start with the trailer.
Okay. Um, I visually and the special effects look great. I'm really excited for it. I do like that they start the trailer with dialogue from Lex Luthor. I think Nicholas Holt is going to be great, and I think he'll be a standout from this movie, actually. As do I think David Cornsweet. I think he looks great as Superman. I love that this movie's going to have a lot of action, but because it's James Gunn, it's going to have a lot of heart, and you see both of that jockeying throughout this trailer. I feel like I've seen enough at this point going in, and I have speculation on some of the scenes. I think, for whatever reason, the scene where Luthor says, your reporter friend who you always give interviews to, and who raised you, and he's like, I'll kill them too. I feel like that's a scene where he has him captive, and there's that scene from the other trailer where he punches through
He's
the
in the
glass,
box.
and
Yeah.
there's that cool effect. I'm thinking he gets beaten down to the point where, whether it's kryptonite based or what have you, where he's so weakened that they throw him in this box and then something helps revive him. But I think that might be that scene. Like, he's in this box, he can't get out, and Luthor's just taunting him and talking to him about these people that he's going to kill. I don't have a lot of other narrative speculations, really. I think this movie's not necessarily going to be about twists and turns, and even James Gunn himself, it might even have been in this EW interview we're going to talk about, but it could have been also online because he's very active there. But
If you're ready to get into it, go for it.
well, he sort of, and it might not be from this interview, but he was saying, like, I wouldn't worry about leaks and things like that. And remember how casual he was about the on-set photos that were coming out? He was like, not a big deal. He's like, it's not going to ruin the movie for you. And he's saying the same here now about any leaks that are coming out or whatever. He said, look, we put together the story for you. It's going to launch this new universe. But little things you hear aren't going to ruin this experience for you. Like, there's going to be elements of this movie that you're expecting going in that we're hoping to deliver on. It's not always all about these twists and these turns and these big reveals. He's like, they're there, but knowing any of them is not going to deter you from the story we're trying to tell. And I thought that was honest. I thought that was really cool, but it's also protective at the same time. And he's smart in how he handles it. But overall, I thought good trailer. Didn't blow me away necessarily as far as a trailer goes, but it gave me everything I needed to know heading into this movie without overhyping it, although I'm at max hype at this point. And I do want to see more of him as Clark. I think that was missing a bit, but we'll get there. But overall, I thought it was a good trailer. What about you?
I thought this trailer was messy. Like, it was just
Mm.
too much going on. There wasn't a central, like, they tried to make a central narrative line with Lex Luthor, which I appreciated, and I agree with you. I think Nicholas Holt is one of the greatest actors of his generation, and he's gonna do an incredible job with this villain. Um, but it just felt all over the place. Like, it felt like they were trying to highlight every single aspect of this movie in case there was one thing that you wanted to see, and so they're trying to give everybody a couple
Yeah.
seconds of everything while also using footage you've already seen, and it was just a lot. And I don't think it was necessary. I don't think you have to show so much. Yeah, I was watching the trailer and I'm like, "Okay, this makes sense. Okay, wait, what's that?" Like, it was just a lot, and it felt very much like they put a bunch of scenes into the trailer because they knew comic book fans and pop culture fans were going to tear it apart and take screenshots and post it online. So I feel like from a marketing perspective, they threw so much into it so that there was so many things for people to talk about and kind of capture the conversation online of what's in this trailer. And I saw a lot of those going around. Oh, this is this person, this is that. And then, oh my God, did you see this? And I get it, but I am such a fan of really good trailers. I like cutting trailers myself. My dream job would be to cut trailers for movies.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see something like this, which is just, it feels very kind of like hodgepodge, let's throw everything in there for the sake of social media. I don't know. I think it's a disservice to the storytelling that I know James Gunn is going to do in this movie. And that's why I'm like, it's just a
Mm.
lot. I wish it was
Yeah.
more concise.
Yeah, I hear you. And I was thinking back to some of the and revisiting some of the trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're very um they sort of marched to the beat of whatever music he was incorporating for those trailers because it was such a
Right.
soundtrack
Music was
heavy.
such a
Yeah.
important part of
So
that.
that always carried those trailers. Where in this one, you're using this new version of the Superman theme. You have a good point. It was very busy, and it's almost an intimidating trailer if you're looking for all the Easter eggs or trying to connect all the dots and stuff like that. So I think that's fair, and that's why I'm saying like it's not the greatest trailer in the world. It's not going to be one of
No.
those like. Do you remember the final Superman trailer? The way we've talked about maybe some Star Wars trailers in the past, or
Like the
things like
"Do You
that.
Were Home" trailer, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, and that's okay. What I did like that this trailer gave us is another reminder that this is going to be a very fantastical movie. Like it's not just it's
It's very
Superman.
bright.
Yeah, it's very bright. But it's not just Superman and then a villain who is also powerful and then everything else is normal. It is there's going to be beasts and creatures, and in one shot he's in space and he's holding a green baby alien that apparently fans said there's toys already out for, and his name is Joey. Like,
Yeah.
who is that? What is that? And then I start thinking like of how wild and crazy and adventurous and just littered with all different types of creatures and people and walks of life Guardians of the Galaxy was. And we're going to get that sort of ingredient doused over Superman and really bring it back to some of the wildness of a lot of the Superman comic arcs. So I'm excited to go on the adventure from that perspective because on the other side, which he does mention, the Batman 2 is still important. It's still happening. Not part of the DCU, but important for what it is, especially with how great the Penguin was. But
Well, the big news this week too with Superman in the same universe is that everybody's talking about how they're working on a Wonder Woman movie.
so that's being the Woman movie is being written, and people are already wondering who's going to play Wonder Woman. And I saw a lot of people mention Adria Arjona from
Every single
Andor.
person is saying her. Yeah.
I think this is going to be taken the wrong way. I think she's too old. And I only say that because, and that's insane to say, but hear me out. She's 33. It's being written now, so it won't be filmed for 2 years. She'll be 35. I don't know if they want to start off with Wonder Woman at 35 if they're planning to do, 10, 15 year universe or something like that. But I could be wrong. She looks young. She looks amazing. I would be so happy if she got the role because she was so amazing in Andor, but we'll see. But back to my point about Superman, and it has me wondering like what is he going to do with this story from that fantastical element, and it gets me excited that we really don't know, and by purpose. So yeah, it's really busy, and they give us the helicopter heat vision shot to close it out to remind us that Superman is going to do just incredibly crazy things in this movie. Where that was some of the criticism of Man of Steel, was that so much of the movie was him becoming Superman, and then he has these clashes with Zod, but then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's over, and he snaps his neck, and then away we go. But I just think this is going to be a version of Superman that is going to register with a lot of people, and that's why I'm taking my kid to it, because I feel like there's going to be so much for him to digest on screen visually that even if there's parts that go over his head from a narrative standpoint, he's going to be dialed into what he's seeing. And you're right about the vibrant palette. It seems like a very approachable and accessible palette from a fan perspective. So it looks great, like I said. But I think you are right. It is a very busy and chaotic trailer, and that's why I'm not saying it's one of the best. But it didn't impact anything in terms of my excitement for the movie. Like it wasn't one of those trailers where you're like Happy Gilmore 2, what we talked about last week. I was like, holy hell, this looks so bad.
That's another one. Prime example. I think trailers are being treated more as less of like storytelling and more of like promotional stuff, which is understandable. They're a big commercial. But I think companies are jamming in all this stuff so that people do take screenshots of things or make GIFs of things that they then share on social media, and they get the conversation going, and then they get impressions and hits and all that other, fun marketing analytical stuff. But that's what I got from this trailer. Like I already knew this movie's going to be good. I'm going to go see it. I know it's going to be good. James Gunn really cares about it. They're leading with him a lot in the interviews and stuff, which we'll get to in a second. But this trailer to me was like, here, comic book fans, dissect this and see if you can figure out every single thing in this trailer to the
Yeah.
extreme. Which is what I think you saw represented online on social media, is that people were just like you said, like Baby Joey and all this other stuff. Which is fine if that's the way they want to go about it. I love trailers so much that when I see one like this, I'm like, ugh, someone just threw a bunch of stuff on a timeline and hit export. It bothers me because I feel like there's missed opportunities with really good trailers. But I know at the end of the day, they are a commercial, so it makes sense. But going into the interview, so like you said, the press is kicking off with Superman, and they released a big kind of overview photo shoot article with EW Entertainment Weekly, an exclusive look at Superman with the cast and James Gunn. They have a bunch of different images and including a digital poster that they do now, like the moving
Mhm.
posters where they do blocking and they all pose at the end. I do find it interesting that they are very much leading with James Gunn, which I
Yeah.
feel like we haven't seen a lot with movies. That like Knives Out as an example. You don't see the marketing with Knives Out where they're doing a whole like teaser that then leads to Ryan Johnson, or a magazine that has Ryan Johnson on it. But here they make James Gunn such a big piece of the marketing of, hey, this is who's standing by this. And I understand that he comes with a reputation and he's head of the studio. This is the first big project that he's doing. But it's very interesting, especially the digital one where they like pan over and there he is with the newspaper, like, dun dun dun, hey guys. I also love that they did the telephone booth thing. Obviously, Superman comes in the
Yes.
telephone booth, very clever.
Yes.
And then as you go through the pictures, you'll see that they're all wearing Superman colors: blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow. And they're very on the New York City backdrop that looks very comic booky with the fisheye lens and playing off of what we just said with the trailer. Very colorful, loud, comic book, fantastical superhero movie. Not what we're used to. As you know, we've talked about on this show how I'm very much like, ugh, everything is so dark and gritty and Snyderverse. This is not that. And they're
Right.
telling you that in your face, that like this is not that. And the number one thing, of course, I'm going to say this, that I love that they're leading with is the romance. They're leading with the romance of Superman and Lois. And I'm hyped. Like, let's go. Romance is missing from everything nowadays. And one of the best parts about Top Gun Maverick is that they didn't hide away from it. They led with it. It was one of the big kind of threads throughout that whole movie was romance. People fall in love, and I don't understand why movies nowadays, like, it never works out for people. They're never in love. James Gunn saying, no, we're giving you this classic couple. You're seeing them together, and they're playing a big part of this movie, as you just discussed from the trailer with Lex Luthor. They have the big kiss moment everybody's going wild for in the trailer, a previous trailer where they're flying, and
Yep.
I'm here for it. That's the number one thing I'm here for. I'm going to be honest. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that we're entering an already existing story where Lois and Clark are already together and they're dating, and they mention here that in this movie they've been a couple for 3 months now. And it was also, there's this interview sequence which we see in the trailer and the TV spots where she's interviewing him at seemingly, I don't know if it's a shared apartment or her place or what have you, as Superman. Did remind me a bit of Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve when she interviews him on her rooftop of her apartment building. But I like the fact that that was the first thing she filmed for this movie, was that scene, and it's because of what they screen tested together on, which landed them both the roles. Because even if you look at this EW article, so go, for our audience, go to Entertainment Weekly and check out the Superman Lights the Way article. But these moving posters that they even have in here, like these moving covers of them in the photo booths, like they have very good chemistry, and
Oh
you
my
can
God,
tell
their chemistry is
immediately.
ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
her touching his hair, and then they're like up against each other, like they like each other.
Yes, their chemistry is very real, it's palpable, and that's gonna be a huge driver in this movie, there's no doubt about it. So, you can tell just from these promo spots that they have, a spark, which is really cool.
Even James
Um
Gunn like does the little nudge, like, "Hey, pay attention, stop being in love." Like it was
Yeah,
very
I know, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I like that they're leading with James Gunn because he has a lot of credibility with audiences in this comic book space for films with the success of a trilogy of Guardians of the Galaxy, which overall I think all three films were relatively praised and all three did really well in the Marvel universe. And they
Yeah.
and they are their own unique bubble in the Marvel space while fitting into the timeline. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So when you remember when I first heard that he was coming on to do DC and do Superman, I was like, this is amazing. I wish Star Wars got James Gunn. But
And I think
um
his tone drove a lot of future projects
yeah.
that people changed the way that they did things from Suicide Squad to maybe even a little bit of Deadpool, stuff like that, that came after Guardians that
Yeah.
had a very jokey feel. And then what, like we said earlier, with the soundtrack, I feel like soundtracks for movies became more important after Guardians.
Yeah, it was such a huge part of it, and even to this day, you hear some of those old '70s songs, and it makes me think of Guardians of the Galaxy now. It's crazy,
Mhm.
and also the new ride, like that's my favorite roller coaster ever at Epcot, the
I
Guardians
haven't
ride.
been, don't tell me.
Oh, amazing. Um, but also the fact that you mentioned, there is humor here, and they are putting it right in your face, so you're not shocked by it. And him sort of like worse for wear, and the guy's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing the best I can." And whatever. I like that because this movie's also gonna make people cry. It's gonna make people laugh, but it's also gonna make people pump their fist and feel hopeful. And it's coming out at such a great time right now where people are feeling a little, concerned with the state of the
Hopeless.
world, the state of the country, and yeah, no hope. So Superman always does best when it's coming out, during a time where, the world needs a hero, and all those articles people write about, the world needs a Superman, or like if we only had Superman in real life, we wouldn't be facing this, or like when the wildfires were happening, like imagine if the world had a Superman. And now we get this movie where it can inspire kids to be good and do the right thing because we have a Superman who's unflinchingly good and selfless and wants to help people. And for a while there, when it was cool to make the grittier version of stuff, and I think that was really peaked in, the 2000s, like post Y2K, and these reimagining of characters and stuff. It was cheesy for good guys to be good guys. And even like in wrestling, like all the bad guys became the fan favorites. Like Stone Cold became the fan favorite and stuff. And it was never used to be that way. It used to be the good guys and the bad guys. And all the lines
Mhm.
were blurred across pop culture and
I
movies and
mean,
stuff.
Joker outshined Batman in Dark Knight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's seeming to be that people are coming around again to and searching for pure goodness. And along comes this bright, vibrant James Gunn version of Superman. And I can't imagine a movie coming out at a better time. So hearing how they're talking about their approach to this, the fact that, Rachel Brosnahan and Corn Sweat, the first thing they filmed for this movie was 12 pages of dialogue for this interview that they're doing. And it was the thing that made them convinced that she's Lois Lane when she did her screen test. That stuff is so cool because that's all baked into the DNA of how they made this movie. And James Gunn, he's a preparer. He's also honest. He's candid. He it feels like the fans can access them, but there's enough distance where fans are not, too influential.
Determining things, yeah.
Right. So I'm just feeling a good about basically all of this, and the cherry on the sundae for me is David Cornsweet and hearing how he talks about the character and how he believed in them trying to do the red trunks for the suit, and it was important to James Gunn. He wanted to bring those back because it's the Superman he grew up with, and David's like, well, wouldn't it be more of an unassuming look if he had these? And James Gunn's like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like he seems more approachable. He doesn't seem as intimidating or scary. You want Superman to be the person you say, Superman, can you come help me? My cat is stuck in a tree. Or Superman, my apartment's on fire. If he looks all badass and intimidating, you sort of lose that, here to help everybody charm that Superman possesses. So he seems dialed in and locked into it, and they all seem to be pulling in the right direction, just like that tug of war video of them tugging war against Crypto, which I thought was clever.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really like wholesome movie. And if by any inclination of how ticket sales have gone so far, which you said you've already bought your tickets, I have not, but you have, Superman crashed Fandango's website on preview sales. Like as soon as things were announced, the sites
That's
went
such good
down.
news.
And I know when I was looking for tickets after you'd actually gotten some, I was looking on the sites. All the preview ones are sold out. All
Oh,
the
really?
Amazon preview
Wow.
ones are sold out. Yeah. So I was looking on like Thursday or Friday, which they're doing ones during the day, and already those ones were pretty full. So I was like, wow, like this movie's gonna do crazy. I mean, what do you think? I think it's gonna set records, this movie probably.
I think it'll be the highest grossing Superman movie, and I think currently that is probably Man of Steel.
But I also
And
think there's a piece here that you will get a lot of people like you that are really big Superman fans that are gonna see it the first weekend. I think you're going to see bigger sales the second weekend because people like me that might not be the biggest fan are hearing it's good, then you go see it.
True. And like I'm taking my son to see this one, and the last time a Superman movie came out was 12 years ago. I wasn't married. I think I was single at the time. Like
Mhm.
life was different, and it was like a more darker, heavy Superman story. And this one, like, I didn't really have any second thoughts. I didn't even like run it by Kathleen. I was like, I'm taking Johnny to go see Superman. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be intense or have a lot of action or have serious story arcs and heavy narratives, but it just feels like a movie that kids will still be able to watch and pick up the things they need to pick up and still get something out of it and feel like I could be Superman, I could be good, I can help people. And we need more stories like that. So
Mhm.
I think because of the reach and potential reach of maybe people bringing their kids, like millennials, like bringing their kids now, and older Superman fans seeing the familiar color tones and stuff and the classic look of the wardrobes, maybe I'll check back into Superman. I grew up on Christopher Reeve. Maybe I'll check this one out. So there's a chance of this reaching a really wide demographic, whereas a Zack Snyder Superman, and I love Man of Steel, you know that.
Yeah.
I
I'm not a
love that
fan of
movie.
the Snyder stuff.
That demographic to me is more male heavy and a certain age range. I think this thing is set up to not only be really successful but also really get the DCU rolling in a really positive direction, because one Supergirl's going to be in this. He already revealed. Who knows who else that they're maybe pretending they haven't cast yet that could show up in this movie. Maybe they already have their Wonder Woman and she's in this movie. Who knows?
Mhm.
But also he mentioned that they're making a follow-up to Superman that he's going to be in, but it won't necessarily be a standalone Superman movie. So there's plenty more Superman coming as well. And that excites me too, Lacey, because how many times have we talked about like a movie comes out and it doesn't do well? Like for you and I, it's Solo, obviously with Star Wars. But how many times a show comes out and it doesn't do well after the first season, but you liked it, and you're like, I'm never gonna know where this story went or what happened with this, or a movie comes out and it's set up for a sequel and it just doesn't hit right, and you're like, man, I really wanted to see what happened with this. With this, it's gonna do well, and they're already giving us more Superman and more characters, and we're just getting started. Like
Yeah.
Batman hasn't even entered the conversation aside from Matt Reeves' separate the Batman 2, which James Gunn, as we said is still important, and they're still doing it. So
Yeah, I think James Gunn is pretty invested in Superman, so I think we're going to see a lot more of him. Um on the other side of the studio landscape with Disney, Universal, etc., We had a long discussion last week, which I appreciate people commenting and leaving
Yes, yeah,
posts
that was
online
cool.
about how they appreciate our kind of coverage of AI and our responses to it and our thoughts and feelings about it. But an interesting story this week just came up after we talked about it, which was Disney Universal are launching a AI legal battle and they're suing Midjourney over copyright claims. Um, for those of you that don't know, Midjourney is one of the AI kind of generating machines that you can make videos and images, etc., from prompts. You can be like Thanos in a kitchen, and it will make Thanos. But the thing is, which I said last time, is that these algorithms and programs and whatever you want to call it, AI, are trained on actual materials. So something like a chat GPT is scrubbing the internet to give you the answers you're looking for, and also bases from research that's shown from Apple, et cetera, this past week as well, is that it runs on patterns and it runs on especially ChatGPT on how you respond with it, how you talk to it, how you treat it, how you interact with it is what it gives back to you.
Hmm.
Midjourney is a little different. Midjourney is a very visual uh, AI, so it does videos, photos, etc. But the only way that it can function the way that it's functioning and know what to do and reference the characters and things that you're talking about is that things had to be fed into it for it to learn. So, copyrighted characters, movies, television shows, um, art is a big one. They have been pushing so much art into these AI systems that is copyrighted. These are people's work. These are the things people have created that it is then they're using to teach without the permission of said people. And they've had plenty of Senate um, hearings about it and conversations of government regulation about it from artists on the music side, on movie side, television side. So this is a big deal. Disney's chief legal officer said piracy is piracy and that they've had enough. And they don't like how Midjourney is using filters that make things into a Disney movie. They don't like the characters that are allowed to be used within Midjourney. So I think that this is a very big first step to stand up for, hopefully, artists and the people that create these things, but also for the studios that own those IPs. This is going to be a big case for copyright. Um, and I hope Disney and Universal win. I'm rooting for them because as
Hmm.
someone, John, as people that create things, they could feed us into the Midjourney system. They could feed my likeness, my photos, whatever. And it gets scary of what people are
Yeah,
capable of doing. So I don't know if you had any specific thoughts about it, John.
it's murky because like Disney was caught using AI to make the Fantastic Four posters,
Yep.
and it's like,
And they used AI to make the intro to Secret Invasion, the Nick Fury show that just came out. They
oh
used
yeah,
AI for
yeah,
that. Yes.
and so it's and there's other examples of corner cutting for the sake of bottom lines, and we're going to see more of it. But also, this could definitely lead to more strikes from writers, from visual effects artists. I know they're trying to get more unions together on that side of the aisle. For I believe visual effects was um, there were rumblings about how there should be a union for them, and um, like it's gonna be messy from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go through the whole thing again because we hammered it pretty hammered it home pretty well last week
Yeah,
and
we did.
multiple times on this podcast when the AI stuff comes up. But yeah, this one is a little like sort of hypocritical to me, but I also like the fact that they're doing it because I don't want to see the escalation of this because the way people see it now, and like everyone's done it where you like make an AI image of something, and like we did one about our dog. We took a photo of him and put him in a king hat and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's all well and good, but then when it gets into, because we never would have hired someone to make an art piece of that. But then when it comes to something where you are supposed to hire people to do things and you're not, then it starts getting really disruptive. And then when you start talking about art and movies and TV and all that stuff, and having these well-known characters be sort of thrown around in ways that the people who own and create them aren't able to oversee, that's not good. It's not good at all, because there's going to be no limits to that stuff. And then you're all of a sudden going to have people making Star Wars movies or making Marvel movies and making DC movies with AI. And then we had the Lionsgate guy last week saying that's exactly what he wants to do anyway. So it's all so chaotic in terms of the nuances of it, because it's like Disney's using AI, but then they're mad that other people are using AI when it's their character. So they want to punish people, but they also want to punish people that would be hired for things they're making. So I don't think there's like a good guy here. I just hope people figure it out. And if there does come a time where it's like someone's making AI movies and puts them out, that audiences respond to that by not going to see it, not paying to see it, and putting a foot down that we have to draw a line with this stuff. And we're not going to ignore it. Just like in Light and Magic, they talked about it. It's here. It's not going anywhere. But they have to find that line that you don't cross when it comes to really just tampering with the creative spirit of humanity. So I like that they're doing this, but the whole thing still upsets me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I can say except I hate a lot of this, all of it, especially the visual end of things. It's just they have to be referencing something, like you brought up, like putting your dog in a crown. It has to be referencing something for it to make that image. So the
Right.
question is,
Right.
okay, what image was fed into it for it to reference for you to get the dog picture? So, yeah,
Right.
I'm ready to move on. I have nothing else to say. It sucks.
It sucks.
It
But
sucks.
Superman looks great.
Yes.
Let us get into some other trailers, including the return of Alden Ehrenreich as no, not that
No,
guy.
no, 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 no.
Oh God, I love that movie.
All right, Gillerin, we have a few here. Let's start with the one we're most excited about, which is the return of Lena Dunham.
I thought you were gonna say something else. You got me that time. All right.
Lena Dunham is back.
Got me.
Everyone loves her. Just she always has the man's foot on her head. She just can't get a break. But here's Lena Dunham with a Netflix series debuting July 10th called Too Much, starring Meg Stalter and Will Sharp. I did watch this trailer, but Lacey, what did you think of the trailer? Is it a good trailer, and are you interested in the show? And did you watch Girls?
I have seen bits and pieces of Girls.
The topless Adam Driver scenes, I assume.
I've seen the scene where a girl he's dating has an abortion and he freaks out. I've seen that scene. I've seen other kind of crazy sex scenes with Adam Driver because they like make their way on the internet oftentimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Certain kitchen scenes with Allison Williams I've seen. Mostly the sex scenes. I'm gonna be honest. Like the sex scenes are the things that I think like caught people off guard, and that's what ended up online because people were like,
Mm-hmm.
"This is a weird thing to have in this show." I was never into Girls. I know a lot of people really love that show. I was never really into it. I appreciate Adam Driver for his acting ability. I think he's great in that show from the clips I've seen. But then he went on to be Kylo Ren, which is a completely different character. But at the same time, there are glimpses of him in Girls when he like freaks out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never got into Girls. However, from what I've seen and know of Girls, this looks just like that. It is a girl that's like, everybody hates me. Wow. And then she goes to London. The reason I sent this to you, John, is because it seems on paper like something I would watch. Like, this is one of those shows that, like, if it came across not from Lena Dunham, I'd probably be like, let me check this out. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of hers. And the background of this show makes me feel about it, which is this show is based on her own life when she and Jack Antonoff broke up, and he then got with Margaret Qualley, I believe her name is, the one that was
Oh,
just
really? In
yeah. So
Substance?
yes. So the beginning scene of this trailer where she
A lot
goes
of
into her
talent.
house and she's like, "How could you break up with me?" And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And then that one like hot chick who's playing his quote girlfriend is like, "Are you all right?" Like that's supposedly a similar situation that might have happened at some point, or like she might have imagined this situation of happening.
Hmm.
And she actually did move to London and then meet a guy and got married. Like Lena Dunham did this. So there were a lot of comments online and like articles and stuff about like it's weird because this did happen and she actually acted like this, so it's not that funny.
So is
Obviously
this
to
an
an
autobiography
exaggeration.
in a sense?
Not really, because I'm sure there's like exaggerations or things that didn't really happen, but she did get married to like a musician in London. Like, she left here, broke up with her boyfriend who got with someone else, and then who actually, but fun fact, Jack Antonoff, who is her ex-boyfriend, is the producer of Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift. He's done many of their albums in recent years. So it's just interesting when you know a little bit of the background. It makes this show, I think, a little bit even more, like, not interesting to me. And I'm just surprised she's still getting work because I feel like people don't like her. Am I imagining that, or is it just me?
I think she's not well liked. I don't recall her controversies, but she's said a lot of pretty disturbing things over the years.
Yeah.
But I never was really too dialed into her. I
I
was
just
always
heard she's
pretty.
not a nice person.
I've heard that as well. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't have much to add on this. I'm not interested in it.
I
I
will
didn't think
not
it
be
was a good.
watching it, is basically what I'll
I didn't think it was a good trailer. It didn't charm me at all. It actually annoyed me more than anything. So, moving on. Um, we move on to a very interesting movie that's coming out. A24 is back, and this time we're looking at Joaquin Phoenix going toe to toe with Pedro Pascal, who is in everything. And
really
I don't
is.
know how he does it, but this is Eddington, hitting theaters July 18th. Uh, Clearly a movie addressing the pandemic and what it's like in a, let's say, small southern town. And you
Mhm.
have Joaquin Phoenix playing this sheriff who wants to take matters into his own hands from a political standpoint. So, Lacey, we watched this trailer. Is it a good trailer? And what are you interested in the movie? What do you think?
Great trailer. Movie looks interesting. Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal are both amazing, so it looks like a really crazy movie. Also, Emma Stone's in it, and she's
I know.
always
Yeah.
choosing good movies as of
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Um, I don't wanna be one of those people that's like, I'm fooled by the pull quotes that are like, "Best movie I've ever seen," but they're all, like, really top trades that are saying it, that like, "Hey, this is so poignant to the times. It's very great. It's in your face," et cetera, et cetera. Um, I just like the look of it. It looks like it's shot really well. Like the cinematography is really cool. I love the color gradient. It's like a warm kind of desert vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It just feels relevant to everything going on in the US, so I'm probably gonna see it.
Did you see this seems like a movie that would be up your alley. Midsummer?
Are you talking about the one that she goes over to Sweden and a bunch of people get killed?
Yeah, Florence Pugh.
I've seen the clips of it. and I've used the clip before where she's walking away crying, but no, I've never seen the
okay.
movie because I heard it's really brutal.
Yeah, I mean, this guy made that movie, so I don't know
Oh,
if
same
that
guy?
was.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
intense.
yeah, and he worked with Joaquin Phoenix just previously in 2023 in a tragic comedy called Beau is Afraid. I did not see that.
No. It just seems
Um,
very intense. Like even the trailer was like very like standoffish. It opens with Joaquin and Pedro being like 6 feet apart, don't come any
I,
closer type thing.
this because he also did that movie Hereditary, which is like a supernatural
Tense,
horror,
tense,
and
tense.
then you
Yeah.
see the end of this trailer, and he's using like high artillery machine guns. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be one of those movies that starts out it's about the pandemic, and then it gets all science fiction on us, and all of a sudden it becomes this horror movie about the pandemic, leading to more things, or the pandemic was a cover up for an alien invasion or something. It's gonna get off the rails in the third
I don't know, but I want
act.
to watch it because it's a stacked cast.
It is a stacked cast. I am very interested in watching it. Will I get to theaters when this is coming out?
No.
Pedro Pascal's competing with himself at this point because Fantastic Four is coming out a week after this. This is a week after Superman. Like, I don't know if I'll make it to theaters. I don't expect this movie to make a ton of money at the box office, but I am interested in it, so I do want to watch
Award
it. It is a good
season.
trailer.
This
Yeah.
will be the one to watch for award season, I bet.
This debuted at Cannes, and it currently has a 67 with critics, but it's
Mm.
considered generally favorable. So I wonder if it's this thing where the third act, like, it either sells
Falls
people or
apart.
doesn't.
Oh,
It just
no.
seems like it's going to be like, okay, grounded small town political thriller, pandemic western type of thing, and then third act there's going to be like a spaceship or something that comes down. Like who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be
Lena
crazy.
Dunham shows up.
Exactly. A large, like a Godzilla-sized Lena Dunham to come wreck the town. Yeah. And tell everybody to feel bad for her. All right. Last one here. One of our favorites, Alden Ehrenreich, featured in this one, but this is Ironheart. The second trailer's here. The 3-episode premiere is on June 24th. So, not that far. What, next week? Yeah, next Tuesday. Yeah, Ironheart. So, Lacey, we reviewed the first trailer. We're obviously going to root for anything Alden Ehrenreich is in. He's not the lead in this. He's a supporting character, of course. But what'd you make of this seemingly final trailer for Disney Plus's upcoming 6-part series, Ironheart?
I think it looks interesting. This was, I believe, a comic book that came out when I was still doing comic conventions because it was one of the ones they were leading with. So it's stemming from a recent comic run in the past, 5 to 8 years. I think Alden looks and sounds great. Like every line he delivers is just so good, no matter what movie it is. He always has like these like powerful moments that it's hard to look away from him on screen. I'll definitely check it out. Maybe an episode, see how I feel about it. It's interesting enough. I just don't know how it fits into the bigger Marvel Cinematic Universe. I feel like this was a show that was created after probably the protests and stuff that they chose to make it, and that they're just trying to figure out how to get it out. Because I haven't heard a lot about it. I feel like Disney's not really pushing this show at all.
Yeah, it's interesting because I believe Ryan Coogler's executive producing because it's supposed to follow the events of Wakanda Forever, which I saw the first Black Panther. I did not see Wakanda Forever.
Did they delay this? Like, I feel like it's just been lost.
Yeah, it looks like most development was going on in 2022. I don't know that it was delayed, but yeah, certainly not a lot of buzz from what I've seen, but it's led by, Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams, who was in Wakanda Forever, and it's supposed to pick up on, I guess, what the ending events of that movie was for her character.
She looks great. Like, it looks awesome. I just don't know where it fits.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because it looks like it's going to be a limited series and a 6-parter. So, either way, yeah, it looks like it's really well made. It looks like high quality in terms of, use of locations and stuff like that. It looks like it's cinematic in nature. I'm gonna check it out. It's gonna be on Disney Plus. Alden Ehrenreich's in it.
Yeah.
Some Marvel stuff that maybe I don't necessarily need to know everything that's going on, but I probably should watch, I'm assuming, Wakanda Forever before I watch it, so I can get an idea of what her character's all about.
This
But
series was announced December 2020.
yeah, so 5 years it took to get to the finish line. All right, and that's fine. Maybe they had to wait for Wakanda Forever to come out. Maybe the Chadwick Boseman stuff threw a wrench into that, which affected this. Who knows? But here it comes, a week from tomorrow, I believe, and with the first 3 episodes. And I believe it's only 6 episodes, so it's going to be a quick run, sort of like Andor was. But I'm going to check it out for sure. See what it's all about. But I'm assuming I got to watch Wakanda Forever first, which I will do. But good trailer. I liked how it moved. I liked seeing Alden Ehrenreich in there playing a different type of character, whose name is Joe McGillicuddy. So we'll see what he's all about.
That's a great name.
Yeah, that is a cool name.
I'm just very surprised that I even remembered that it came out on Disney Investor Day in 2020, but it just seems like one of those projects that they're like, we announced this, we said we were going to do it, so we have to get it out. But they're just trying to, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like they're really hyped about it.
Yeah.
Unlike
Yeah,
Andor, where it's like everywhere. Every time I turn around, there's some Andor event going on.
Well, I hope it does well. We'll see.
Me too.
But yeah, let us move on to our final segment and talk about what we've been watching.
We can never leave the house, and would just probably sit around all weekend and watch TV.
Go on.
All right. You go first.
All right. So I watched Bride Wars the other night. It was on TV, and I can't help but admit that Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson are so good at comedic acting. Which Chris Pratt's in that movie. He plays like the jerk husband. But yeah, they're so good. And I really enjoyed it. I hadn't watched it in a while.
Oh, it's been out. That came out a long time ago, right?
A while ago. Yes. I think I
thought
saw it in movie theaters.
When
I'm
I
being
saw
honest with you.
You mentioned it on your list. I thought it was like one of those Netflix shows about
No,
women fighting
no.
over a dress, or
No, I'm talking
No.
about the movie with Anne Hathaway and
Oh, I haven't seen
Kate
it. Should I
Hudson
see it?
where
Would I like it?
it's funny. I mean, but it's clearly like a rom-com. So if you're not into
Yeah.
that, you're not gonna
I
like
like
it. But
rom-coms. Good
I mean, they're
rom-coms.
both top of the line in their
Mhm.
in their game with this
All right.
movie. It's just really, really fun.
All right.
The other show that I started watching was The Devil's Plan season 2. I watched Devil's Plan season 1 on Netflix. It's a Korean game show where they get really smart people, which by the way is all of Korea. And they're all super smart. And they put them through like these really kind of mathematical, specific, strategic games, and then you collect pieces. It's really hard to explain. But that being said, I watched like the first 1 or 2 episodes of this past season, and they're amping it up to the point that it's hard to follow because they're so smart.
Mhm.
They come in and they're like, "Hi, I am a YouTuber. I also graduated from 16 colleges and have the highest, intelligence score of my region in Korea." And you're like, "Oh, okay." And then they're all like that. They're all super smart. And like the first game was this very kind of like mathematical catch the thieves, mafia, corrupt cop game.
Mhm.
And I'm watching it and I'm going, I don't even understand the point of this game. And it just made me feel like, first of all, I'm so dumb. Second of all, they could never do that in America. It's just like Korea is just operating on another level of intelligence that like we could never match.
Which Korea
Oh
are we
my-
working with here? Is this North or South?
South Korea.
Yeah, they don't have cameras in North, right?
No, South Korea is where all like the K-pop and
Yeah.
good movies, Squid Game comes from South Korea.
North Korea just has the fake grocery stores with the plastic food in it.
What?
You
What?
never saw that video? You never saw that video?
No. What?
This guy like secretly filmed like a grocery store in North Korea, but there was no grocery, so they just filled the shelves with like plastic food, so it looked like it was a bountiful part of town. North
That's so
Korea is a
weird.
complete, it's a
I know.
complete
I have no
yeah.
idea what you're talking about.
We'll find out
Anyway.
in like 10 years.
Oh, don't say that. So, anyway, Devil's Plan is really great. It kind of stemmed from the popularity of Squid Game, and
Mhm.
Physical 100 is another show I really like from Korea. Devil's Plan is basically that, just for really smart people. It's like
Alright.
they bring in like 12, 14 smart people, and they all battle it out for like who's the smartest, and it's a game of like trickery and puzzles and working, going behind people's backs and lying. And anyway, if you like that, watch it. Season 1 is epic. And the person that won was who I wanted to win, so I feel like I won. So season 1 was really good. Last but not least, the other thing I was watching this week, I mean, unless you're under a rock, you know what's going on in America. There's a lot of protests going on, a lot of different issues, and I would say terrible things. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that it's not terrible. They're terrible. So I have been watching Hassan Piker on Twitch, and without getting into the nitty gritty, I just want to say that he is an amazing streamer that goes out into the protests, and not just protests, but like he'll go to events and stuff. And he has someone that follows him around while he streams all day. And I was just very amazed at their technology. Like, I feel dumb that I didn't know such a thing existed. Like, his camera guy had a backpack that was connected to like a DSLR camera, and they like walked around the protest and were interviewing people and saying hi to people. And yeah, it was just, I was watching this like, this is such crystal clear footage. I was like very amazed that like we've reached such a place in technology that it really kind of levels the playing field, because he was in the thick of it in the protests and talking to people and kind of on the front lines at moments, places that CNN or MSNBC or Fox News couldn't even get, because he was in it. And as someone that went to school for video production and got her master's degree in video production, it was just amazing to watch this happen. When I remember in college, like logging tape, which was a thing where you put tapes into a tape deck and sat there while it digitized onto the computer for however long the tape was. So if you filmed for an hour, you were sitting there for an hour. Yeah, technology has come a really far way. Also, it showed me in LA they have Little Tokyo, which I didn't know they had, and it made me want to go back to Japan like really bad, because they went to Little Tokyo for ice cream at one point, and I was just like, I
Ah,
kind of want to go back. Because I missed out going in San Francisco just because it just didn't happen. So someday I'll go back.
got those pancakes though.
We did, and I'll have to
Yeah.
put that video up on Patreon.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
we ever put that out.
Yeah, we have a ton
Foul
of stuff.
language in that one, I think.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
yeah, whatever. All right. I have been watching WWE, but I have a statement to make. I feel like the WWE is not as good as it used to be. And I say that for two reasons. One, American crowds are dead at these events. They are dead.
They're all filming on their phones.
The only thing they participate in now is if someone has like a sing-alongy type of entrance music. Beyond that, these crowds are doing nothing. They're like, it's so bad. The international crowds in Europe were like bananas, and you could see the wrestlers like really vibing off that. They give people nothing here in the U.S., and I don't know what's going on. So they got to
Are
figure
they all
that out.
filming with their phones?
I don't, maybe, but I think it's just that I don't know what happened to our spirit, but people aren't excited at wrestling events. If you watch a Raw from like 1999, that place is going bananas like corn at Woodstock. It is just crazy, and I don't know what's happened. But maybe it's the quality, because they're not telling a soap opera anymore. They're not like weaving stories and narratives that like you really believed as a little kid that these things were happening, and then as you get older you just like it for the soap opera element of it. All they do now are classic backstabs, all false finishes in the ring. No one's finishing move works anymore. You have to do it like 12 times. And then also, like, there's just all these Raws and SmackDowns seem to just be straight up adverts for the pay-per-views. Like, they get the rivalry going, the two talk, they fight in the ring before the fight, and they talk more, and then the pay-per-view happens, and people go pay to watch on premium the big event and the big match. There's no like storytelling creativity anymore, and the wrestling's bad. The wrestling is bad to the point where they're trying to do too much in the ring that it's clearly the person who's the moves being done to is doing just as much work, but it's not hidden in the way it used to be. And it feels like I'm watching a circus, or I'm watching like what's the fancy circus people, Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Like there's all these like choreographed, it's almost like a dance now, where it's like it used to just look like wrestling. So I don't know, and maybe that's just like me being crotchety because I'm from like the Hogan era of the 80s and then the Attitude Era as a teenager. I think if people are hooked up to a lie detector test, they would say that wrestling isn't as good as it used to be. And I remember I was getting back into it a little bit, and I'm probably going to watch to see how John Cena's like final run ends here as a bad guy. But wrestling's getting rough, and I hope it improves its quality in the ring and with their storytelling.
It's all about the writing team. If the writing team's not there, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I know, and Triple H just seems to really have the same level of power as Vince had, and I don't know if he was ever meant to be a creative person in that way. I mean, he was a pro wrestler and worked his way up, and we know how. And then I've been watching the Yankees, who are crushing it. Aaron Judge having an MVP season, but I do have issues with them as well. Maybe I'll speak to that next week after these next couple of series. But I was trying to think if I watched other things, and I rewatched the movie Collateral, which is a really good one. But I don't know that I've watched anything else, so I got to see what else is out there. Someone recommended the John Hamm show on Apple TV Plus. Like,
I said that.
Oh, you had said that? You watched it?
No, I've been hearing that it's really good.
Oh, right. Okay. Because the guy who is show running and wrote that is the guy who's writing the Sean Levy movie, Star Wars movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that might be a nice indication of what he's got going on currently.
The
But
other
that's it.
Ocean Gate thing's out.
I want to watch that one too. Yeah. Yeah, because the other one I watched was it wasn't
This
like
is the
a
Netflix
Fugazi.
one. It was
This
like
is the
Fire
Netflix
Festival.
one,
There's
yeah.
like 16 versions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But that's it for me for now. So that is it. That takes us to the end of the show. So we want to thank everybody so much for getting nerdy with us today. We hope you're as hyped on Superman as we are, and all the other stuff we talked about. I mean, especially Lena Dunham. Like, it's a must watch on July 10th on Netflix.
No.
But yeah, make sure you do follow us, Nerdy Nice Pod, on social media. Subscribe to the show, Nerdy Nice Podcast, on its own platform, separate from the Resistance broadcast. And of course, if you like Star Wars, you know where to find us on the Resistance broadcast. We have a new episode coming on Thursday, and please be sure to check out our episode from this past Thursday, where we speculated a lot on the upcoming movies and what's going on. So, and then a big thank you to our patrons, patreon.com/TRB podcasts. This podcast would not exist if we did not have the support from our Patreon. So thank you all so much to everyone on our Patreon. And if you are listening to the show and you like what we do here, please just consider taking a moment, maybe after this podcast ends, opening up your browser and going to patreon.com/TRB podcasts or the Patreon app and take a look at what we offer, because our tiers start at just $5 per month. And we're doing our second watch along, my first pick on our watch along series. This week, we're going to be doing a watch along of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This one over here hasn't seen it yet. So you're going to be watching Lacey watch an Indiana Jones movie that's 40 years old for the first time. And the only way you can do that is by joining our Patreon. And check out the site, because we have so many other bonus materials, and we have a Discord server. We have other live chats we do. a lot of great stuff, including exclusive merch from us. So please check it out. Please consider supporting us. It means a great deal. And a big thank you to the generals, Carmelo, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Nick Kratz, Chris Morales, Danny, Mike Ramori, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Colin Cormier, Stephen Garrow, Sachi, Darth Snips, and Araman Rojas, and the Silver Screen Spice Runners, David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gellner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, the Fort Worthian, and Brian Smith. Thank you all so much. You can find me on X and Blue Sky at Johnny Hoey, on the Resistance broadcast with Lacey every Thursday, and then my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. Lacey, where can people find you and talk about all this stuff and more?
People can find me on social media at Lacey Gillerin and on TikTok at It's Lacey Gillerin, where I talk about all different types of stuff. Yeah. And Star Wars. TRB.
Right on. All right, everybody. Summer is upon us. Summer officially starts in 5 days. We hope you have a wonderful week. A lot of sunshine. We'll see you Star Wars fans on TRB Thursday. And you nerds next week on Nerdy and Nice. So until next time, we'll see you around, kids.